Welcome to Nitpicking Nerds. Today we're talking about your boy Johnny.
It's the Johnnyest commander cards.
I'm your host, John Cherries.
I'm your host, John Z, and that makes us the John-Picking Nerds, bringing you daily commander content. This time about Johnnies. If you want to support all of our Johnny endeavors, you can go to the description and Patreon. It's the best way to do that.
Yes, you can also go to tcgplayer.com. That is an affiliate link where you go, you buy your Magic cards in the U.S. All the Magic cards you were going to buy anyway. Mm-hmm. You purchase them using that link, and guess what? You're now supporting the Nitpicking Nerds. Wow. And you spend no extra money.
Oh, my goodness. That's the Dragon Shields, the TCG player. There's too much going on.
We didn't even talk about Dragon Shields.
We'll talk about them.
But now I will. There's also a link for DragonShield.com, EU and US links in the description below. This is also an affiliate link. Buy the best sleeves in the multiverse, toughest scales, good sleeves. That's their third slogan.
Good sleeves. It's in the works.
Yeah, we're working on a better one for that. Good sleeves. Dragon Shields are awesome. You should get them. Thumbs up.
I almost like that slogan better than best sleeves in the multiverse.
Good sleeves. Good sleeves.
Good sleeves. Today we're talking about Johnny cards in Commander, the Johnniest Commander cards. And you might be asking, what is a Johnny? Well, it is part of the three main player profiles for Magic the Gathering. There's the Spikes, play to win, super competitive, build decks efficiently. There's the Timmies, big splashy 9-mana nonsense. And then there's the Johnnies, who are the combo players, like to build ridiculous engines and assemble weird pieces. And Joe, why don't you read the definition of a Johnny?
Well, a Johnny, or Jenny, is characterized by their tendency to build complex and creative decks. Johnny/Jenny is most commonly known as a combo player, and they sometimes choose for elaborate but inefficient win conditions. They like to find interesting combinations of cards that can win the game or give them at an advantage.
So they're trying to win, but they're taking the long road. They're going, I want to do this, so let's try to find the best way to do X, whatever nonsense they want to do.
Yes, their decks are convoluted. They're jumping through lots of hoops, unnecessary hoops, that they create for themselves to win the game. So they make the game harder on themselves to win, but usually they're going to win by some combo, and the deck is going to be awesome and synergistic.
Yes, like I guess, for example, we both have done some Johnny things, and I almost would put myself as like a Johnny Spike hybrid, but I have, with my Imperial Archangel deck, I start with the goal of, I want to win with this stupid Imperial Archangel. How do I do that? And then the deck builds itself from there. We're like, all right, I'm putting auras on it and all this crap. So that's like one example. But we have first some legendary Johnny cards.
The first one is Sidri, Galvanic Genius.
There's so many combos here that you can give Death Touch to your artifacts and then you're turning them into creatures, and you're just tapping them and untapping them and doing all these weird things. Sidri just gives you this payoff, and it's like, she's like, go do it. And Johnny's like, I'm going to go do it. And they build this weird deck, and I think this is perfect for the players looking to assemble a bunch of different contraptions and win that way.
I'm not sure what her combos are, but I remember specifically playing as a Sidri deck and losing to a 3-card combo. Just like, oh, we're dead. We're all dead.
Yeah, there's plenty of those.
Yeah. What's next?
It's Mishra, Artificer, Prodigy. Classic, because this card has no text unless you build around it. Then it has okay text, but if you want to build around Mishra, you're probably a Johnny player who's going to put Paradox Storm in their deck, and there's some other ones. I think Nether Void is like, that's like $1 million card, but that does work with Mishra also.
Yeah, Mishra, like you said, it's a textless card. This card doesn't function in Commander the way you want it to, but you can make it so you can do things with it. The hoop is literally, how can I make this piece of cardboard that usually does nothing win me the game?
Yes, and that is such a cool little adventure people like to go on. This one, I have a Commander deck of it. I love it. Talk about it all the time. It's Brutaclad. You start with win the game, but you probably don't want to win the game by making 1 million of the same token. But when you are a Johnny and you go, I want to make the best Brutaclad deck, you're making constructs, you're cloning things, you're making encore tokens. There's so many fun, crazy tokens to do, and I feel like every game is different.
Yeah, you can turn everything in, like you said, constructs, or you can even go the opposite. You can turn all your stuff into treasures to spell sling a ton to get more tokens to just do something crazy next turn.
There's people who tried to use Sarkhan, the Masterless, to make other planeswalkers into creatures, then mutate on top of them, then make a token that's a copy of that, then turn all the Brutaclad tokens into that.
Yeah.
Like, that's the type of stuff we're talking about here.
Yeah, Brutaclad lets you jump through a million hoops to create such a weird thing. Now, like you said, there's some simple things. Hey, made 85 treasures, turned them all into 5/5s and attacked them 1. That's the easy way to go with Brutaclad. The Johnny way, he's not just doing that. He's making them constructs that are exponential. He's making them, like you said, all treasures. He's jumping through hoops. He's jumping through hoops to make his creatures into planeswalkers somehow.
Yeah, just a bunch of nonsense. I love Brutaclad. What about the next one?
Well, it's Marchesa the Black Rose. This card just doesn't work on paper. It doesn't do too much. It's like, oh, my creature's kind of going to die. That's never what the Marchesa player is doing. The Marchesa player is putting +1/+1 counters on other people's creatures, taking them with active treason, and doing all of these unique things that really only this commander can do.
Yes, you can just take... It's like the Grixis Take Your Stuff deck, but it does not look like the Grixis Take Your Stuff deck. I love the extra little mileage you get out of terrible effects like Act Treason or even like Mind Control.
I mean, this is the best deck for Treachery, I think. Well,
so good.
Treachery is just like an okay card because obviously when they get it back, it's like, wow, I took it, but it's back. But if you have Marchesa, you never let them get it back, and it's that much better.
Super sweet. Plus, there's politics going on with the dethrone ability. Next, Bergji, God of Storytelling. She either lets you sling spells, okay, or discard cards to just churn through your library, and I feel like this is like the enabler for whatever nonsense combo Johnny is cooking up.
This is the first example on this list of something I think very, very Johnny is spinning your wheels. It's getting going and not really doing much, but setting up for something later in the game. You're like with Bergie, you can cast a bunch of spells, get set up, or you can Houndfowl to just to discard your hand to build up a ton of cards, keep playing them until you have a critical mass of whatever you're trying to do, whatever your Bergie plan was, and then you run them over with a combo from there. It doesn't matter what the plan was. If you have 10 cards on the battlefield from your deck, it's tough not to combo with Johnny decks.
Yeah, Bergie's going to enable some of your Johnny dreams. Next, Yogmoth Thran Physician. More in the 99, I think, than in the command zone. Pretty straightforward command deck in the command zone, but when you're in the 99, do you want to put -1/-1 counters? Are you trying to make a sack outlet? Are you trying to proliferate planeswalkers? I feel like he just is this little Swiss Army knife that does a ton of everything and helps you spin your wheels to get your combo going, like one of the better cards in your Johnny deck.
See, I don't even know. I agree. In the 99, he is very Johnny, but he's also his own commander where he does these weird convoluted loops that are nonsensical with, like, what is the card? Nest of Scarabs?
Yeah.
It's like, what? You're comboing with Nest of Scarabs? That's not a good combo.
It's out there.
That's not what you want to be doing. If you're like, I want to win the game, you don't start with Nest of Scarabs.
Probably
It's not what you put in your deck. But Yogmoth lets you do those cool and unique things.
Yeah, next, Sir Conrad the Grim. I think this is so Johnny. There's a little knob to turn on it when you can mill people, but just the fact that it is like your payoff, not like where you start enabling things with like Bergie, but then you're paying it off with bigger, splashier things like Sir Conrad, where you're just making everybody mill like 50 cards or some nonsense, or you put a Mind Crank out, and now it's like an infinite loop almost, where Sir Conrad's just going to burn through people. I couldn't think of an adjective.
Yeah, it's going to adjective right through people.
That was a verb. It wasn't even an adjective.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's got to be so many stupid little loops where it's like you can mill them like 7 times a turn. But,
yeah.
And like it can just turn any of those silly loops into a win. He also enables, say you're playing an infinite mana combo that's like 7 cards, because that's what we're talking Johnny here. We're doing convoluted things. He also pays that off on top of all that.
He does a lot. All right, last legendary, Eloise, Nefalia, Sleuth. You're taking a million actions. You are sacking creatures for mana. Now you get a clue. Well, you can sack the clue with the mana you just made. All right, now you surveil. All right, put it in the graveyard. Then you draw a card. Now you have the creature that maybe you want to get back. Maybe it's a Bloodghast. You're just taking so many actions and spinning so many wheels that you feel like you're going to win. Doesn't even matter if you lose because you've won in your heart.
Sure. Next, actually, these two slide right in with Eloise because both of them go in her deck. It's Astronaut's Altar and Krark Clan Ironworks. Both of these, Astronaut's Altar sacrifices creatures to make 2 colorless mana. Krark Clan Ironworks sacrifices artifacts to do it. This is just the most wheel spinny of wheel spinny things. You're just sacrificing everything to make mana, to play more cards, to crack clues, to do anything. You just keep, and obviously this is a part of so many
combos,
infinite combos that are involved with loops. Like where you can loop, if you can do an infinite loop with something, this pays it off by making infinite mana. Now you just got to throw that mana in something and win the game.
Yeah, we're talking like your Lotus Petal, Mirror Retriever, Scrap Trawler, KCI, or maybe your Neem Deathmantle, Weaponcraft Enthusiast, Astronaut's Altar. There's so many ways to go. I love that with specifically Eloise, Astronaut's Altar says sacrifice creature, draw a card, which is neat.
Yeah, Conrad Ironworks is such a weird card. Same thing with Astronaut's Altar, where with paying cost, they let you do weird things like put 2 things in the graveyard at the same time. Something not usually doable with Artifact.
Like, I'm going to cast a 4-drop.
I'm going to cast a 4-drop, or I'm going to cast... No, it doesn't even matter. I'm going to cast any spell. You can overpay for any spell.
That's true.
I'm going to cast a 0-drop. I'm going to sack both these creatures to pay for it. Now, they go to the graveyard at the same time and trigger at the same time, so Scrap Trawler and Mirror Retriever can get each other back. And that was actually part of the old KCI loop.
Yep, and then if they're costing less, you're just going ham.
It's so stupid.
It just lets you set up this Rube Goldberg machine that eventually is going to kill people, but it's not efficient.
Yeah, not at all. Not even a little bit. What's the next one?
It runs efficiently, but the steps to get there is not efficient. Like, it's a list of 20 things you got to do.
Yeah, exactly. So what is next now, BZ? I already said it.
It's Fractured Identity. We're trying to put something terrible on our own side, so there's a bunch of risk involved. But when you Fractured Identity it, everyone else gets it, and now they have to deal with it, whether it be Phage the Untouchable or just a card that says you can't cast creature spells.
Yeah, we get away from the combo side here and get more into the convoluted side, where it's like, we're going to play some garbage. Put a garbage card on our side of the battlefield.
Like Cody.
And then we're going to hand it out to everyone else at the table. It is completely and utterly silly. It is bad. I mean, Fractured Identity might be a good Magic card in some senses, but it is definitely bad in the sense of Commander, where it's just like, I don't want to give the other players my stuff.
But once you do it, it's good.
Or I don't want to, okay, like think about when there's as a removal spell.
Oh, it's terrible.
There's an Avacyn on the field.
And now there's 3.
Now there's 3 Avacyns on the battlefield.
It's not much better for you.
It's so funny. It's like, overall, Fractured Identity is bad. It's not great. But Johnny's take it and they turn it into something it wasn't intended to do.
Yeah, it's a 2-card combo. Mechanized Production is also like a 2 or 3-card combo. You set it up, you're trying to make clues, treasures, tokens, or maybe even just, if you're just going ham, you're trying to make 8, Smuggler's Copters. But you're doing that, and then this is just, I win the game. Like, that's my combo. I set it up and protected it. Now I win.
Yeah, I think a very, very Johnny thing is just alternate win cons.
Totally.
They're already jumping through extra hoops. You're doing all these extra things to get to a point where you could win the game, and you're skipping the just winning part. You're like, I don't want to just win, I want to do this thing. So it's like, now Mechanized Production is one of them. You just want to put it on something, get that alternate win con. It kind of skips over some of the other hoops, because usually you give yourself hoops to jump through. This card is just a hoop by itself.
Right. It provides all the hoops you're trying to build to win with Mechanized Production. Frantic Search, I always think of this as a Johnny card. You're storming off, you're taking extra spells, you're making extra actions, and it just is a 0-mana spell, so it definitely helps you spin those wheels.
Yeah, it's the most wheel-spinning thing you can possibly do. And on top of that, it acts as sort of a ritual. I think rituals can be very Johnny if you're building towards something that's not just a normal Stormwind. If you're building toward, casting 20 spells to do something crazy. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
I know there's something on here that you'll build up mana for that we'll talk about.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. And this, acting as a ritual is kind of crazy, because activate my Nykthos, make 6 mana. Cast this with 3 of the mana, untap Nykthos. All right, let's do it again.
And next, Rooftop Storm. Obviously, it's a zombie tribal card, but it is so Johnny. I feel like you did all the work. You put only zombies in your deck. That's tough to do. Then you slam Rooftop Storm, and now you just get to play Omniscience, basically. It's super sweet.
Yeah, I mean, this is just, it builds in the combos with things like Gravecrawler. It just lets you do so many things. It lets you basically empty your hand out into a board of just zombies, and if you got to win from there. Are you going to win with attacks? Probably not, because you're Johnny. You're going to combo somehow, because that's what Johnnies do.
You'll get if you're drawing all your zombies and you're playing them all in the same turn, even if they don't have haste, you can still go all right, I have Diagraph Captain and I have all those different lose life payoffs, Vengeful Dead, and I'm just going to stack my board and win.
Yep. Next, we have Bolas of Citadel. This is a staple of the format, but I think if it's really best, it can be a spiky card, but if it's best into Johnny, this is the most wheel spin card. You can just keep casting everything off the top of your library, paying your life, getting really low on life, sacking everything to make people lose 10 life. There's a lot here.
A lot of buttons to turn, and I love it with things like Visceracy, or you just get the Johnny turns of the century. With Visceracy, you're like, oh, there's never going to be a land on top. Oh, I have a way to gain life? Okay, let's do it. I think the top Aether Flux and Bolas of Citadel combo, definitely a Johnny style. It's like a step below CDH, but it's definitely a cool combo.
I would agree that it is a Johnny style. I don't think it's a competitive combo. I think it is a combo that you see at more casual tables. I'm talking 6, 7, 8 power still. We're talking pretty high power. You're not going to see that in CDH too often, I don't think. I think Bolas of Citadel is just a bit on the expensive side for CDH. But if you're in high power games, from, like I said, 6, 7, 8, you're going to see that combo all the time, and it's probably from Johnny's.
Probably from those Johnnies.
Now you know something's up when you see a Kazul's Fury or Fling. These cards are really, really, really bad by themselves. So that means you're doing something to make some creature have a ridiculous amount of power, or you're going to just jump through a bunch of hoops. Maybe the creature has prowess. You're casting 10 spells beforehand, getting it huge, and then Kazul's Furying it at your opponent. You're definitely not doing anything casual when you're Kazul's Fueling. I mean, I have seen the casual ones. Usually they're a little more than that.
You're not playing it as fair. Like, oh, I'm going to get to deal 5 damage when you target my creature with the removal spells. Like, no. I'm going to make my creature gigantic, and then I'm going to proactively just throw it at you to kill you. Or I took the trouble of putting terrible cards in my deck, but they all have Infect, so I'm going to deal 10 to you right away and just kill you.
Yeah. That's all I got for Kazul's Fury.
If you see it, you know there's some shenanigans. You know it's a Johnny type thing. Whirlwind of Thought and Song of Creation are next, and I always lump these together, and I wish I wouldn't, but they're 2 rares. They're enchantments. They cost 1, and the triome colors, they're both from the same set. So I lump them in because they also say whenever you cast a spell, you draw 1 or 2 cards. They're super sweet, especially Song of Creation. I want to build around this card.
Song of Creation has more of the Johnny feel, where it kind of, every spell you cast draws you 2 cards, but at your end step, you discard your hand. I think this really speaks to Johnny because it's bad. It's a really bad Magic card because discarding your hand to end a turn is just way too huge of a downside. What ends up happening with this card is you put it out, they let you go to your end step, you discard your hand, and then they blow it up. Oops. That's why you really have to build around this and make sure you're using it right.
Right, we're talking like instants with flashback so that it's not a big deal to discard your hand in a turn, bunch of 0 drops so you can get it all on the board as fast as possible. There's definitely stuff to do, and I want to eventually build a Song of Creation deck, maybe for gameplay down the road.
Yeah, maybe someday. Next, we have Enchanted Evening. We're turning everything into enchantments?
Only nonsense could ensue after that.
I mean, what else are you going to be doing? You're going to be, probably playing your Sarah Sanctum to make a 1,000,000 mana. Same thing with Sanctum Weaver. You're going to go, you might plan on blowing up the whole board with like a Bane of Progress being really silly.
Then just have a 50-50 as, oh wait, no, it'll die.
It'll kill himself. No, he'll kill himself. So you just blow up the whole board and that's that. That was the other thing. Same thing with Wild Michael Synth Lattice. You're going to do the same kind of nonsense. This can be a little more spiky when you see it with Karn,
yes,
the great creator, because that locks everyone out of the game. But more often, you're going to see silly things with it.
I mean, that's kind of silly. Like, no one's really doing that. I feel like it's definitely steps below high tier, competitive. So it might even fall into like a Johnny lock where they're like, hey, everything's an artifact. Can't use yours.
Ugh, I do not like that way to win the game. Next, we have Rail, Storm's Conduit. This is such a hoop to jump through. So it essentially has Magecraft to deal 1 damage to an opponent. Mm-hmm. The whole idea of what you do with this card is index that you're already playing double or copy a spell. If you get 2 of them, you just copy each other infinitely, and then you win the game. It's really, really silly and weird.
You have to cast a tiny spell. Then you have to try to copy it. Then you copy the copy, which copies the copy, and it loops forever, and you win the game that way. So hilarious.
I mean, it's like a 4-card combo. I mean, 1 can be anything.
And 3 have to be on the stack at the same time.
Yeah, 3 have to be on the stack at the same time. This isn't like a win con that is efficient in any way, but it is it's just so Johnny.
It's so sweet. I think Rail's good.
Yeah.
That's a decent card. Living Death, also just like an insane Magic card, but it leads to so many loops and shenanigans and combos and wins from Johnny players where they put the effort in, they fill their graveyard, and now, whoop, here they all are again. At once, you lose.
I mean, it can be as simple as like a massive 10 vanilla creatures.
Yeah.
Eternal Witness, Pitiless Plunder, sack all it. It's over. Game's over.
Game over.
It's an infinite loop. You can just loop it over and over again. Now you probably need to pay it off somehow with, a Blood Artist or something.
We have those.
But yeah, I mean, they're not because it turns out those 10 vanilla creatures listed, they actually have abilities because we didn't actually put our graveyard deck filled with vanilla creatures.
Yes. Next is Temur Sabertooth. I always look at this and I just go, what are you up to? Because there's nothing reasonable. You're trying to bounce a creature infinitely, cast it infinitely, and then as a fallback, you have an mediocre creature that can give itself indestructible. But it's purely for shenanigans.
It's purely for wheel spinning. I mean, you put things back in your hand to recast it. You bounce your 1-drop, play it again, draw a new card off of like your Beast Whisperer. You do tons of things like that, and that's where this card gets its power. You leave up mana so you don't overextend.
Can't get board wiped.
Such a very Johnny card, very Johnny. I'm just gonna keep saying very Johnny.
Very Johnny.
Very Johnny.
Necrotic Ooze, also very Johnny. you're filling the graveyard up. There's like Phyrexian Devourer in there, and you just go, what's going on? Oh, Devoted Druid? Oh, like there's Quill Spike? Whatever could be happening. And then they're like Necrotic Ooze combo out of the graveyard. Really, this is a sick one.
Well, this is a combo for CDH. It exists in like
I think it's kind of niche still.
It is a competitive combo where the Necrotic, where it's like, it's the way you went with Hermit Druid, right? Usually.
That is one way, but there's also, I thought most of the ways I saw, you just dread return like a Karmic Guide and win that way.
Also fair. Necrotic Ooze is it's a combo card. Trust me, when you see a Necrotic Ooze, nobody is just playing it. It's the most medium card you've ever seen.
It's terrible. I think it's a terrible card if you're not comboing with it.
Yeah, so
it taps to deal damage.
You have to assume the worst. I would every time you see it.
There's Royal Assassin in my graveyard. Watch out, guys. Revel in Riches, alternate win con. I'm trying to kill everybody's creatures, and then all I got to do is untap. But I put this hoop alternate thing in my deck, and I think that's very Johnny trying to almost combo with the card you played.
I think alternate win con is just it is the most
top
Johnny
tier Johnny.
thing.
Top tier.
It's just it screams Johnny to me. Next, Doubling Season. If you're playing Doubling Season Planeswalker, sure, it's not that unique of a deck, and it's been done a million times. It's Johnny. I don't know where else you could
combo.
You can't ever put this anywhere else. It's an inefficient combo.
Right.
It's an extremely inefficient combo. You're going to grind value out with your Planeswalkers. That's what Planeswalkers do. You're going to wipe the board, keep it clean, have Planeswalkers out, plus to draw a card, plus to make a 2/2. That's all you're going to do. And then you're going to play Doubling Season, then you're going to play Tamiyo, and you're going to win.
Any Tamiyo, basically.
Yeah, both the Tamiyos are completely bonkers.
It's not the War of the Spark Tamiyo.
Yeah, even that one's okay.
It's not even that bad. It gets back another Planeswalker. Yeah, Planeswalkers kind of suck. And if you're talking about 2-card win conditions, guess how low Doubling Season Tamiyo is on the list of 2-card win conditions? It's like bottom.
It's incredibly low.
Yeah.
The Doubling Season is actually, that's what's funny about Doubling Season. It is a very bad win condition if you're talking about high-powered decks. Now, when you're talking about, as soon as you break it down to and you get to 8, it starts being viable.
Yeah.
But in 9 and 10, it's not even close to viable. And I think the combos that don't quite reach the 9 and the 10, that's where Johnny lives. Johnny lives with 7 and 8 decks that just win with silly combos.
It's unorthodox. There's a reason that Doubling Season is like $100,000 and it never goes down. And no matter how many times it gets reprinted, it just stays the same price of $65+. And then there's others the Kiki Jikis of the world. It's like a $5 card. Nobody wants to play Kiki Jiki and Village Bellringer. It's been done.
Yeah. This is, to be fair, Doubling Season's been done as well.
Yeah, but apparently not as much as it needs to. It needs to be done some more.
All right. What is next?
I love this card, but I can't play it because I just think it's too. I'm all for spinning my wheels, but Time Sieve is I'm gonna draw the line at spinning my wheels that hard. It's a pseudo infinite card. Once you go infinite, you don't have to worry about it because you win the game. If you go I have ways to make 5 artifacts on my upkeep and Time Sieve, take infinite turns with it. I just think this is rough. I don't want to take this much time in a game when you don't know that you're going to win and you have an Eloise deck or something and you're just spinning your wheels, making 3 clues a turn, scrapping together the other 2 artifacts, sacking real value, take an extra turn, maybe getting it back, but that's a Johnny play if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, Time Sieve is just very strong, and like you said, it goes infinite with the stupid Thopter thing. Assembly.
Thopter Assembly. I just think that card's terrible.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with that. I'm saying it's a very Johnny combo.
It is.
It's just it's so bad. It's Time Sieve is super medium of a card. It's just okay.
It's solid.
You got to jump through a lot of hoops to make it good.
Right.
And then Thopter Assembly is awful, but throw them together and suddenly you won the game.
Game over.
You win.
How about Mana Geyser?
Mana Geyser. This is you don't need to make 30 mana to do something fair.
Right.
You never do.
No.
And you're not casting 1 spell, you're casting 17 spells, and they're adding up to something completely silly. Every time. Mana Geyser isn't just make 30 mana, play a 10-drop, a 4-drop, and a 6-drop. It's
No.
That's not what you're doing.
We're starting with a cantrip. Don't you know? We're Faithless Looting-ing first.
Looting-ing?
Looting-ing.
Looting-ing. Okay.
Faithless Looting is a card name, but I'm turning it into a verb. We're looting-ing.
We're looting-ing. Because looting...
No, but that's faithless looting-ing, not just looting.
All right, we gotta move on sometime.
How about Helix Pinnacle?
It's
wait, we just made 30 mana. We have Bergie. We're going off. We're making mana. We're frantic searching. Well, I could win, or I could put 100 mana into Helix Pinnacle and win on my upkeep.
Yeah, on your upkeep.
Not even right away.
And if a board wipe doesn't come, And you got to jump through This is so many hoops.
I love this card.
I mean, you put Helix Pinnacle in your what is the guy's name? The Crewfix. Crewfix.
Oh, okay. You get one of those.
You put him in your Crewfix deck, and then you just build up 100 mana, and you put it in,
like
and you win.
Doubling Cube comes to mind. Like, that card sucks, and just Helix Pinnacle, just, Cage Sun, maybe? You're frantic searching with Cage Sun, and your Helix Pinnacle. So much nonsense. Proliferate.
Yeah. I mean, all of that. Actually, this next one goes right along with Kazuo's Fury and Flings that we talked about earlier. Chandra's Ignition. Yeah, this card can be good in a lot of decks where it's just like, okay, I have a commander with 8 power. Boom. It's just boom, already a good card. But there's the exact opposite where you do the exact same thing where you make this creature that is a 50-50 monster and you Chandra's Ignition it to kill everyone at the table.
This is actually what you want to hit with your Infect creature because it's an instant win.
Yeah, I mean, and it wipes the board if it doesn't instant win somehow.
Yeah, I mean, all right, shrink all my opponent's things into nothing. Even the indestructible creatures die. My opponents are at 8 poison. Go ahead.
Yeah, Chandra's Ignition is... I mean, it literally just fits with Fling and Kazuo's Fury.
Right, definitely in there. Pitiless Plunder, this is the card in your Aristocrats Graveyard creature decks where you got 7 creatures out. Get ready for some wheel spinning opponents. Maybe you want to pull out your phone and text your grandma or something because we're going to be sacking creatures, we're going to be drawing cards, we're going to be making treasures, and then we're going to be doing it all over until we run out of gas or kill you. Yeah,
Pitiless Plunder is a placeholder for when a creature dies, do X. This can be draw a card. This can be make Eldrazi Scion.
Yeah.
This can be making Eldrazi Spawn.
Totally different.
Totally different things. It can be any one of those things. There's a million. When this creature dies, do X. The best one is Pitiless Plunder, and it's the most wheel spinning because it's mana.
Part of the broken treasure cycle.
Yeah.
It is now 1 card short. It's now missing the blue piece.
Yeah, the blue piece to the broken treasure cycle. Well, I guess if we're calling it the broken treasure cycle, that still exists. It was broken and banned.
It was broken and it's banned. So Hellkite Tyrant is the next one. Alternate win condition, but it's ludicrous. 20 artifacts. You get to steal your opponents. That's a few, but you got to make treasures or clues or blood or something. You got to go ham, and it's still on upkeep. This feels easier than Helix Pinnacle, but just as fragile.
I don't even know if it feels
more fragile.
I think it's harder than Helix Pinnacle.
Oh, you think so?
It's 20 artifacts controlled on your upkeep. Everyone's aware of this.
That's true.
And same thing with Helix Pinnacle too, but at least with Helix Pinnacle,
there's Shroud.
It has Shroud. They can't just destroy it like this. This is a fragile creature.
It's a 6/5.
It's a 6/5 flyer that just dies. It just dies to all the removal spells in the format.
Which doesn't make it bad, but it does make it not the go-to way to win the game.
Absolutely.
So Goblin Welder is going to help your Hellkite Tyrant deck, I guess. You're going to be switching cards and artifacts in the graveyard and play over and over. I think this card's actually just insane. It's really good.
Oh, that was very good.
But definitely gives me Johnny vibes of, let's switch that. I'll switch this, get my Blightsteel back or get my thingy back, and then just attack you out of nowhere, get some value. I like it.
You can not get a Blightsteel back that's shuffled into your deck.
Oh, yeah, it's not even a trigger, right?
Yeah.
It's instead.
It's a replacement effect. So
I'll get my Darksteel.
Nope. Also has the same trigger.
I'll get my Metalwork Colossus.
Yes, you can get your Metalwork Colossus. This thing is just, it's so wheel spinning. I'm imagining you activate an artifact's ability, do whatever you're going to do with it, then you sacrifice it, then you put it in your graveyard, bring in a new one, use that artifact's ability, maybe to untap our Goblin Welder, then we do it again, and we put it back in the graveyard, and we pull out a new thing. I feel like there's probably infinite combos with that. There has to be.
I also like just turning my opponent's big thing into a mana rock.
Yeah.
That's really satisfying.
Nice big giant creature you got there. Put it in the graveyard.
Oh, you really went all out with this 7-drop. Would you like Talisman of Indulgence?
Here's a question I'm just not sure about. So the wording on the card says exchange, right?
Simultaneously. No, I think it's simultaneously sacrifices it and returns the other thing to the battlefield.
Oh, okay. So, that's what it says?
It says the word simultaneously, yeah.
Yeah.
If both targets are still legal as the ability resolves.
Maybe it used to be exchange then.
Yeah, but then they're like, that does not work.
Yeah, well, because what I was wondering if it's exchange, then what happens to a Wormcrow engine? Does it die? Or does it just get put in the graveyard magically?
Right. They reword it to sacrifice, so it even counts towards your Dargos. What is next?
Next is Birthing Pod. This is toolbox decks. Every single turn, you're sacrificing a creature to get your best creature. You create a chain. In fact, when you play a Birthing Pod deck, you often build chains. You literally build your deck with the thought of, all right, if I'm on 3, where's my 4 drops? What can I get? And then you got to have a 5 drop, and a 6 drop, and a 7 drop. Maybe even all the way up to 10 if you're crazy.
But it's not even just that. It's, all right, I want my removal spells and my card draw and interaction to be on creatures. Let's put them at every single step of the way, so no matter what I'm potting away, I can find a naturalize effect. I've got Druid of Purification, Reclamation Sage, Caustic Caterpillar, and Outland Liberator. It's like I'm going to be able to destroy one in every mana cost. It's super cool.
Yeah, this is a huge build-around card and super giant. There's not combo here. This one's not really a combo card. It can have combos, not necessarily a combo card. This next one, though, this is...
Not a combo card.
Not a combo card. Well, no, this next one, though, is this Johnny
Mono
only.
nonsense.
Johnny only. I mean, no one else is playing this card except for Johnny players. We're going to Paradox Haze. We're going to double our upkeep. And
the best step.
The best step. Clearly. This is where everything triggers, except for, unless you really like your... Sagas. That doesn't work with those, so shut up. This is just doubling all your upkeep triggers.
I'm thinking like Dark Steel Reactor is what comes to mind.
I can't even think. There's a million. Yeah. There is literally a million things that trigger on your upkeep. Now, first thing, this card stinks.
Second thing, what are you supposed to do?
Your whole deck has to be like built around it. Maybe your commander has an upkeep trigger. That's decent. It's just silly. There's nothing real that can be done with this card power-wise. But there are tons of hoops you can jump through to make this card look like it's powerful.
Totally. I just imagining, Estrad's Invocation. Now you can like maybe Mythos of Aluna to make a token copy of it, and then maybe we're making more tokens. Maybe I'm making a Mythos of Aluna token and then Brutacladding it and making 50 upkeeps. Maybe that's what I'm doing.
Well, only 50 upkeeps?
Right, and then I'll play Thassa, God of the Sea, so I can scry 50.
That's
the payoff.
Wow. You broke it. You broke
Scry 50 for a million mana.
Finally, Magic is broken.
Yes.
Next, these two go together. Tireless Tracker, Tireless Provisionary. They both are landfall, get either a clue, or the other one, you can get a choice of a food or a treasure. You always get a treasure.
That card's insane.
Yeah, that card's very, very good. They're all really good. Their landfall get an extra permanent, which you can sacrifice, which you can use for mana, which you can use to draw cards. Holy crap, are we spinning our wheels yet?
Here we are, especially if you're going to go for one of the Johnny pseudo combos that I'm just now thinking of, Great Aurora. You just build up your permanent count, and you go, whoop, draw 30, spin my wheels for one turn, and then you're all going to concede because you realize how far ahead I am.
Yeah, that's exactly. You just built every single land is now putting two permanents in play because you're getting the land and you're getting whatever
little trinket. Maybe you have both.
Yeah, and maybe you even have Academy Manufacturer, which is also a very Johnny card.
Oh, Academy Manufacturer, new add to the list. That card is amazing. It goes absolute ham, but you have to build around it so strictly.
You have to be playing a deck that cares about clues, foods, or treasures, and then
you're storming off.
You can go crazy. It makes a lot of stuff. It's crazy card.
If you have multiple Academy Manufacturers, the opponent should not play that game because it is over.
It's going to take forever.
It'll take forever because you're going to win, but you're like guaranteed. If you have two, you get a million. It's just already too much to count.
Yeah. Next one, I put this one here because I thought it was a fun, cute alternate win count. It's Suture Priest. My whole goal with this, and the idea behind it is, I want to win by putting things on my opponent's side. So
forever.
I have Suture Priest here. I need to figure out a way to infinitely untap my Forbidden Orchard. My Forbidden Orchard.
Okay.
Now, I want to tap my Forbidden Orchard over again. Sure, I can make infinite mana. But why would I do that when I can just give you infinite 1/1 colorless spirits and you die?
I'm thinking, just coming to mind, I'm thinking Ruin Ghost, because you can make a white mana with it. Mm-hmm. So then Ruin Ghost can flicker, and then all you need is like a Retreat to Coralhelm. Boom.
Boom. Boom.
Johnny's, get to it. Make that.
Boom.
Blue-white deck.
Yeah. Blue-white, Suture Priest.
Ruin Ghost, Retreat to Coralhelm. All three already great cards.
Forbidden Orchard.
Yeah, all four.
At least Forbidden Orchard's a good card.
Yeah, it's solid. I think you stop caring about if they have 1/1s at a certain point.
Yeah, you do. You get to choose what opponent gets it, so you always give it to the player that cares the least. But regardless, that is our Johnny video. Best shout-outs to all of our Johnny patrons. Love you all as much as you can without making you uncomfortable.
Timmy and Spike patrons, we also like you, but this is the Johnny video. So if you're a Johnny and you want to support the channel, or if you're just a human being who wants to support the channel, patreon.com is the best way to do it. So go in there. But if you want to buy cards for yourself while supporting the channel, you can go to tcgplayer.com. The link's in the description, and it's an affiliate link, so you can help us out by buying stuff there.
Yeah, you literally click on the link, spend no extra money, buy all the cards you were going to buy anyway, and guess what? The nerds get supported, and we appreciate it beyond belief. You can also do that with Dragon Shield, EU, and US links in the description below.
Best sleeves in the multiverse.
Both best sleeves in the multiverse. Toughest scales, good sleeves.
Good sleeves.
Good sleeves.
You know what? Okay, that's what that reminds me of. if we want to just coast right into the tidbit after I mentioned that you can come play Commander and share pet memes in our Discord, is it reminds me of the Adam Driver good soup. That's what it reminds me of. That's what it is. That's why that's so funny.
Good sleeves.
Good sleeves. You gotta say it like that.
Yeah, what is that meme? What one? Okay, because I'm not gonna look it up. Comment. What movie is that from?
Adam Driver's been in some weird, like, I don't know, indie movies.
He was in the Gucci movie.
He was in the Gucci movie,
I
had spoiled for me.
Good. I don't want.
We asked for it. We don't care.
I asked for it because I don't want to see
go
it.
watch it. I don't have any interest in Gucci.
I don't care about Gucci at all. No. I like when our friends went, you know what movie looks good? And I thought, I don't know. And they went, Gucci? And I went, that looks like the worst thing I've ever seen.
It look like it's probably fine. It just doesn't spark my interest. Like, I would go see it because I don't know. I don't know.
Here's Lady Gaga and Adam Driver and they're Gucci and
Gucci's friend. That's how little we know.
It's Gucci and Gucci's friend.
Yeah.
It's my name. Our name.
Is that in the
trailer?
The trailer. Well, we're done here.
She points to a Redding wing and says, our name. She's into a pirate as well. Peace out, Tribe Scout.